Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video I just want to show you my custom Lemax haunted fountain that I've just finished creating. I'm going to be releasing another video showing a bit more on it while it was apart and before I finished gluing in the lights and stuff. But this is now using a Arduino, a new power supply. I'm still using the original pump and currently no mist. First off, the power supply, this is now a 12 volt AC brick and it is half the voltage from the original. The original Lemax power supply was this, which is 24 volt AC. This is the highest voltage Lemax adapter that's ever been made. And the reason why I dislike using them is they get hot very quickly. They overheat. They're just not safe. You can't. I wouldn't trust to leave that plugged in long term. One of my goals with this fountain is I'd really like to have it as a desktop or table piece because it doesn't really go with any Lemax Village pieces. Like for reference, here's the fountain, and there's Isle of Doom. Like the size of this thing is huge. If you look at that, it is massive. It's basically as tall as like a building. It's like as tall as pretty much any building. If you compared it to like a regular haunted house or something, like it's massive. So it doesn't really go with a village, but I still really like it for its aesthetic and the way that it just looks. And I think it's very creepy. I like the fountain part, so I really wanted it to be a new tabletop fountain for me. And I bought it like a while ago, and I was planning on redoing it, but haven't really had the time. So this is, I purchased it in sort of non-working condition without the adapter. So, basically, the 12 volt AC adapter, the reason why I'm still using an AC adapter versus DC is the pump I still fundamentally like, because this thing is like 20 years old and still it's working fine. The reason why is the AC water pumps are really well designed for the most part because they're basically brushless. They just use magnets to spin the rotor. So they're really silent, so all you really have is the sound of the water. You could use a 5 volt pump, which I did try. This one worked. These are only a couple bucks, but I really don't like these because they're loud and these are going to fail a lot quicker. And I bet you anything they're going to start rusting in like a couple years. So, I just really like the design of the pump still, and the fact that it fits in here. I don't have to buy another pump. I wanted to try and use it. So this pump is designed for 24 volt AC, so it is able to run just fine, as you can see, on 12 volt, but the problem is it can't start by itself. So I'll show you that in a second. The lights, they're all DC, running off 5 volt, so they could plug into a regular Lemax adapter if you wanted. And also, I could install the mister in here, like a newer one that has a wick. The old type misters are just really messy, and this one's actually kind of rusting a bit. I just don't like them because that splatters everywhere. So this is relatively well-contained mess-wise. It still has some fountain splatter out here, but it's not like a huge mess. I could definitely put like a little towel down and it would be fine. The original lights in this piece are terrible. It's bad design all the way around. The original lights, like, they had them resined in place in different holes. The ones back here I couldn't even get out, but they're so rusty. They turned orange. There's like a rust stain. They were never meant to be put underwater, number one. But number two, the method they used was like, you expected this to work? because they basically did not protect them at all with silicone or anything reasonable. They just sort of put a little bit of resin, epoxy, whatever, and like, okay, it's good. Like, it's not waterproof. It still held them down in the water, but it didn't protect them from water seeping in and rusting them out. So, and also the wiring, I have my doubts as far as how well they even chose their wiring. And what also was completely stupid is they cut the casing on the mister and the pump so that basically they rendered it useless. The casing, especially on the mister, I'd say, and the pump, like both of them, I'm assuming the manufacturer obviously designed it so that the casing is what's protecting the wires from the water. But Lemax just went ahead and said, hey, you know, it's too hard to try and weave that casing through the back, so let's just cut the casing. And so the water is able to seep into the casing, and the wires are just in the water. Horribly, like, terrible design. And the fact it's AC, like, you might actually get a little bit of a buzz sensation with your finger if these started to wear off, if the coating came off the wire and it was just loose in the water. All around terrible. And I have nothing positive to say on their original wiring. So the new lights that I've used are WS2812B pixel lights, which I've used in a lot of my projects. And these are easily programmable from Arduino. And then, yeah, what's really nice about the pixel lights is they're waterproof, they're fully sealed, so I don't have to worry about them rusting, and the wires are fine. So that all worked out really perfect to just be able to weave one wire through the backboard and run it around the basin. This is way brighter than the original lights, and they're going to last way longer. But also they're programmable, so these are actually doing, in the basin, they have a slight, like, variable fading pattern. So you can sort of see they twinkle a little bit around. It's not super, it's not super easy to see on the camera, but it is there as just sort of a subtle effect, so that if you had it in a room, you'd definitely be able to see the water shimmering, and you can have the glow sort of change. And then the skull's eyes are now orange. I could change them to be green or whatever pattern or color or fade, or I could do lightning if I wanted to. I just thought it's like a flickering candle orange. I just think it looks nice and gives sort of a contrast from the all green basin and the water. It just looks really creepy, and I like it a lot. On the back side, I've mounted this adapter. This is able to take the 12 volts AC, convert it to DC, and also step it down to 5 volt from 12 volt, so then it's able to regulate the voltage perfectly. I could even still plug in the 24 volt adapter if I wanted to, and it would be fine. This thing is able to regulate itself, so I think that's just really foolproof, because if anyone stuck basically any adapter all the way up to 40 volt, this thing would actually regulate it back to 5 volt. So the Arduino and the lights are well protected and safe. The pump wouldn't be able to handle over the 24 volt AC from the original adapters, so if you got higher than that, that would still be dangerous. But then the switch here just turns off the water, and the lights remain on. The reason why is it's just like an illusion. If you're giving yourself a switch here to like shut it off with, you should definitely unplug the adapter for these AC adapters, because they're coiled transformers. They do get warm, and whenever they're plugged in, they're going to be seeping energy. So just, it's not worth leaving them plugged in and like doing an off switch. It's better to just unplug it. The new adapter is barely warm. It's like you can sort of feel a little bit of heat, but It's been running for like 5 hours, 6 hours straight. I've just had it plugged in running. So honestly performing very well. This is just fine. Because it's barely, like you can barely tell. Much better than the original Lemax adapter. So something as far as the fountain goes is I'm trying to switch it back on and it does not turn on. The reason why is because it's under voltaged and the pump is not able to actually start itself with the 12 volts. And so using a syringe and sucking water out of the gargoyle and then pumping it back in is enough to give it a kickstart to basically get the rotor to spin, and then you give it like a couple seconds and the pump will get back up to speed, and then it's able to work just fine now. So this method also works really well if your gargoyles are plugged, because I've noticed on a fair amount of them that the gargoyles, one of them might stop working, or also like the mouth. When I got this piece, they were definitely spitting a lot worse, and the mouth was barely spitting water, even though there is definitely a tube behind there that's supposed to be spitting water. And now that the lights are so bright in the skull, you can actually see a little bit of glow there in the mouth. But using one of these dental syringes really works well if you're having a clog issue on one of the tubes, or also I do recommend sort of pulling this up if you're worried about there being some hair or debris on the pump. I'm still not sure if I want to re-glue this piece, because I just don't know if it really provides that much for me. Like, is it really does that actually make it look better? I don't really think so. Just having the nice lights in the basin and really lighting up the water, I think looks really good. I mean, you obviously can see the pump, but this thing doesn't look great. So, I don't know, I guess take your pick on which one you think looks better on that. But yeah, hopefully this video inspires you. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. I'm happy to help. Like I say, I'll be posting another video that sort of showed a bit more before I had this all finished up. And yeah, and if you have a fountain or another Lemax piece you want me to troubleshoot, or it's broken or whatever, I'm happy to help you out for free over text if you just want to try and fix it yourself. But if you'd like to send it in for repairs, I do take buildings upon request, and as long as you pay shipping, then we can sort of work out a price of what's fair for the building beforehand. Because it just sort of depends on each sort of repair. If it's very simple, quick soldering, minor light changes, that kind of thing, it's usually like 20 to 30 bucks. But if it's more extreme, in depth, like a full Isle of Doom rework, it's more pricey. This piece I probably wouldn't charge a lot, because this was relatively easy to just glue these lights in. The problem would actually be, I'd say, getting an adapter if you wanted the exact same sort of fit of like 12 volt, just because it's not really necessary to have the 24 volt AC if you don't want this original mister. So if you want it just a bit lower and you're willing to do the syringe startup method, then we can probably find an adapter and everything. But yeah, feel free to reach out. I have my number and email posted in my YouTube About page. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.